Welcome to another edition of the Kal Korff TV Show here on Daily World Television in Chandigarh, India. Folks, we have a very special show for you today. We have a 15-year-old guest, a very fine young man who's destined for greatness. His name is Aadil Bedi. He's just 15 years young, and what makes him very unique is that he has already won 161 golf tournaments and championships around the world. He has played in India, Europe, the United States. He came by our studios with his father, and they sat down and we got this fantastic interview which we would like to share with you right now. Once again, folks, without any further ado, here is the up-and-coming eventual, what seems to be world champion. He's going to try out for the Olympics in 2020, Mr. Aadil Bedi.
Hello, I'm Aadil Bedi. I'm 15 years old. I'm an amateur golfer and I've won 160 golf events worldwide.
Why is it that you chose golf as a sport instead of cricket? The reason I'm asking is because India is world famous for its fantastic cricket teams. Why golf and not cricket?
I think as a very young boy, I also inspired to become a cricketer one day, and my parents were also very supportive in that field. But I felt like when my dad introduced me to golfing world, because he was a very passionate golfer. So at about age of 4, I started going to the golf course as well as playing cricket. But the funny part was I only like to just do batting all day. And in cricket you have to wait for your batting turn. So when I started up golf, I saw that it's like only batting all day. So I think that was one of the most primary reason for me as a young boy to start golf. But I didn't know as I would keep on playing more practice and I would eventually take it up as a career.
So it was your father who took you out on the golf course at age 4, made you play golf for the first time, and did you fall in love with the sport that day or did it take a while?
My mom had a very busy job profile, so he used to take me around at 1. So at first early age I just used to go there for Coke and chips because there was nothing else to do at home, and he would hit balls all day, and after every hour he used to give me a snack. So at first it was just for going out of home, but as I saw him, I started taking interest in him. He ordered me some clubs of my size because at that time clubs for a 4-year-old in India you had to be very social and you had to order from America. So we ordered some clubs, and as my first days I started playing golf, I just felt this very comfort feeling when I just play, and I still have it till now.
So when you started finally playing golf with the right size clubs, did you find that you had a natural love for it, and were you good at it from the beginning, or did it take a while?
I had interest in all sort of sports as a young child because I used to do everything a child can do. So I had a very athletic body. I had true love for all the kind of sports. So I think that helped me with my golf because I used to play cricket, so that swing is pretty similar in some way. So it didn't took me that long to pick up golf, but as I practiced more and more, I took professional coaching. So I think I got a little better.
Now, you are currently 15 years of age, right?
Yes, I'm 15 years old.
Okay, and despite being only 15, you have won more tournaments than you are years old. So, how does it feel having won so many of them at such a young age?
It honestly feels very good because when I see all the other players that I play with, I've won more tournaments than them. It obviously feels very good, but I take it in a very healthy way. I take it as a confidence booster because when I play with them, I have more exposure, I have more experience. So I think I have a lot more edge over them. So I take it in that way because that helps play more better than them every time I play.
So is it like I noticed in tennis when I play it that if you play an opponent who is not as good as you, your game drops down, you suffer as well. Is it that you kick your game up to another level when you have a certain level of competition, or is it that it's always at this very high level?
That depends because in India where I play, because we have a very competitive field, but it's only limited to 8 or 10 players. So if even I play badly, I'm not outside the top 5. So, but then I go to US every year and I see what the world has to offer because the best players in the world play there. So I see a whole new world every year and new players and what they have, what their game is. So I like get a lot of learning from the United States as well.
Now, you mentioned the United States and golf, the best players being in America. Have you had much experience playing in Europe against European players?
Yes, I played the European Championship in 2012 when I was 11 years old. I played in Scotland and I finished tied 11th there.
Okay. And how would you compare the European version of golf to, say, Indian versus American?
I think European golf is way more different than Indian or American because they have only link style golf courses there which are very windy, and not all players can sort of adapt their game to windy golf courses. But India has more golf courses like that's not that windy or uphill. Like they are easy, not that tough. But United States has all sort of golf courses. Like because there are so many golf courses to offer, so one can play any type of golf course they want.
Do you have a preferred type of golf course? For example, I know in my case, being from California, there's a lot of golf courses there, of course, many of which have a lot of little bodies of water or little lakes on them, especially in like Half Moon Bay area and so on. Do you have a preferred type of course that is best for your game, or one that you like more than others?
I think, but as a golfer, like I have to adapt to all sort of courses. But the one which I personally like is much more lush green golf course than a dry one, because I think that suits my game better. I think it just feels good to the eye. So I think a lush green, less windy, but it's again like I have to adapt to any kind of golf course I have.
When you first started playing in courses outside India, was there an adjustment you had to make concerning the distance as far as the par number and how far you had to shoot the ball?
Definitely. When I first started playing international golf, those courses outside India are a whole new different game because they have so many elevations, slopes that we don't get in India. So at first, the primary stages it was very tough to adjust, but now like as I keep playing internationally more regularly, so I'm getting used to it now.
Do you practice every day?
No, I practice like 5 days a week, but when I don't play golf, I do some other stuff that helps my game. Like I do yoga, I do fitness, then I do meditation, stretching, cool down, gymnastics. So that sort of stuff, because that is also a key factor in golf right now, golf in these days.
Okay, break it down for me and people who are going to watch this interview. What is a typical day in the life for you? What time do you wake up, for example? Talk us through how your typical day is and everything you do on a typical day until you go to bed at night.
The days I go to school is like I wake up at 5:30 in the morning. I meditate for some time and I do my warm up. Then I go to school at about 6:30 because I am also in my school football team. So I play there till 9, then study till 2. I come home at 2:30, eat lunch, go to the gym, again do some exercise, and from 4:30 to, it depends on the weather. Like in winters I don't practice more than till 6:30, but in summers I can go up to till 7:30. So half an hour after that again gym, cool down, then have a good diet because it's important to replenish what you have burned. Then I go home and study for 1.5 hours, then eat dinner. Then if I have some important test or assignment in school, I'll study that or I go to sleep.
Okay. You mentioned diet being important. Are you veg or non-veg?
I'm non-veg.
Non-veg, okay. Most Indians, or at least ones I've met, seem to be, at least in Punjab, vegetarians. Why are you not a vegetarian?
I think to be a sportsman, you have to eat anything that's good for you. So I think chicken, fish, meat, I think the things which are good for me, I don't think twice.
Okay. And what about the rest of your family? Are they vegetarian or non-veg?
I think my family is all non-veg.
Non-veg, okay. So it's easy for you to be, in other words, you're not the odd child out.
Yeah.
You're eating something similar to what they eat.
Yes, we cook chicken almost every day at home. But it's kind of a routine to eat non-veg.
Okay. And what has been the reaction of people, your friends that are the age you are, or as we would say in the West, in high school, because you would be equivalent of a freshman or sophomore in high school. How do they feel about your success? Because it's disproportionately huge considering your young age.
I think the people in my school, like my circle, I think if we see on a larger basis, most people are like, I feel like they're kind of jealous, but at least in my circle of friends, I choose friends who are not like they push me up instead of pull me down. So I think they are not jealous, but they get motivated from the stuff I do. So they are also sportsmen. I hang out with the guys who I also get inspired from. So it's no jealous kind of circle. It's a very healthy atmosphere.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's more than one kind of jealousy. Sometimes somebody can be jealous of how somebody looks, how big their bank account is, whether they're a movie star or not. When you say jealous, do you mean people just wishing they had that kind of success?
I really don't know, but I think that because in school when I take my trophies to school to like in the assembly, most people are like they wish they had, or I don't know, but I think like they are somewhat jealous, but I try to be as humble as possible with them.
Mm-hmm. And what would you do, or what do you do if somebody young comes up to you and says, "I want to be just like you," or "I want to be a golf professional one day"? How do you react to that?
At times, like in earlier times when I was, and when these things were new to me, I would like get really excited if someone at my age comes to me. But now I think I just tell them that just practice and work hard. Like I observed pros, like when I ask professionals golfers, like the ones who I idolize, what they tell me, I think I learn from them a lot. And I observe also on internet like what the PGA Tour professionals they tell the children. So I think that I copy some things from them, but I also give my personal touch to that.
Okay. Now, if you follow the history of golf, there's a huge difference between a champion like Tiger Woods versus a older generation champion like Jack Nicklaus.
Mm-hmm.
How do you see the contrast between the two, and do you think that golf has a hole in it now that Woods is no longer competitive as he used to be? How do you see golf today versus when he was the champion for so many years?
I think Tiger definitely changed the golfing world in a more different way, because his fitness, people started going to the gym because of him. His swing, his mechanics, like in the earlier day, like when Jack was the when he was in top form, they didn't really care about mechanics, they just knew how to get the ball in the hole. But Tiger, he changed the way like people idolize him for his swing, for his mechanics, and not only just for his winning streak. So I think he changed the way people think about golf, and I idolize him certainly. But I think after Tiger is not playing competitive golf, so I think people nowadays, like the younger generation in the professional events, it's anybody's game. It's not really one man dominating. So if there are 100 players playing, anybody can win on a certain day.
Tiger Woods mentioned a few years ago that he was suffering some physical effects from playing golf. And I remember the Western media was kind of snickering at him because it's like, well, how taxing can playing golf be on your body? It's not like you're boxing or playing American football or baseball or basketball. As somebody who golfs yourself, do you think explain how it could be so taxing on your body, your hip and
people think golf is a very boring game and just hit a ball and walk. I think it's much more than that, because if you do the same rotation every time, like 1,000 times a day, I think your body, the muscles which are used more frequently than others, like your back and knees and shoulders, they tend to get sore, because most golf injuries are from that areas only. So I think that I understand what Tiger means to say as a golfer myself. So I think that's why he used to do fitness a lot. But his swing was so explosive that even his fitness could not take it.
So when you work out and you finish a hard day's work on the golf course, do you feel some of the aches and pains even at your young age?
Not my age, because I have my coaches, they have given me a structured routine, not to overburn myself, like to stay within my limits at all times. Because one mistake and it goes. That's what it takes. So I think I have a very structured routine of what I do, and it's very much under control.
Okay. Do you feel sometimes that this control or strict regimen that you have is stifling, or do you find it more empowering?
I think it's not. It doesn't stiff me out at times. It's never like, oh, I have to go again. I do it because it comes from the heart. It just I have to, like, I just enjoy killing myself in the gym or playing golf in the sun. I think people think it's too like a labor work, but I don't think so.
Would you say that your approach to it is more holistic or mechanical?
I think it just comes because golf, the way I see it, I don't play it for the championships or to beat other. I just play it because I love the game. The best part is when I'm playing, I don't even know what time it is or how much time I've spent. So like my parents have to stop me, or my caddy has to tell me like stop. It's like your 1.5 hours over now. I think that kind of things that I feel from the golf, they motivate me to do better.
Okay. In Indian culture, it's common for people to marry when they're younger rather than older. In the West, they tend to get married well into their 30s now, for example. So I assume that your goal is to be a world champion golfer, right? Okay. So let's say that you start to achieve what you want, and if you keep going at the rate you're going to get there, there's no question. But what happens when you meet that special somebody? You know, this woman of your dreams, and now you've got a successful professional golf career, you're signing autographs, you're making tons of money, you've got sponsors paying you big bucks, but there she is. Are you ready for both, or is it going to be a while?
I think golf is like a not ending sea for me. Like I won't be ever satisfied with what I've done. I think it's just more and more to come. But I think the future me should be mature enough to handle that.
Okay, so it's obviously years away, but you don't see an inevitable clash between the two?
Yeah, even now I've learned to take sides between, like keep my personal and professional life totally aside.
Okay, so let's say a holiday's coming up and your buddies say, hey, we want to go party at this, we want to go to Shimla for the weekend or something. Do you ever have to tell them, I'd love to go with you guys, but I got to practice, I got to get up at 5:30, and you guys aren't going to get up at 5:30 with me?
Yeah, most of the time it's like that, but when I prioritize accordingly. If I have a big tournament coming, then I have to practice a lot, obviously. But now, like when next tournament is a couple of months away, so now if somebody offers me a vacation, I would definitely be happy to go.
Okay, so do you think that there should be some latitude in there to, we'd say, also have fun, play, meaning in the sports as well as socially?
Definitely, it's very important to de-stress, because we play golf. I play golf like 22 weeks, 23 weeks a year, and that's almost half an year. So it's very important to de-stress, because if you keep doing golf all year long, you're gonna burn out yourself at like early 20s. That's not what we want. We want to play a longer game, till at least till 40s. So I think it's very important to have a good social life, people who even distract you from your goal, so you can come back stronger. I think that's what it's important.
Do you have any personal timeline as far as when you want to try to make inroads into the pros and go for it?
My next plan, like after next year, because Asian Games and Youth Olympics are approaching now, I think that is my major next short-term plan. But I intend to turn pro after playing those two, because I have to. My also big goal is to play in the 2020 Olympics. So I have to turn pro like at least 2 years before that, so I can qualify myself for it. I like in coming years, like not more than, it should not take more than 2 years from now to make me turn pro.
There's been a controversy over the idea that golf should be in the Olympics. Sometimes it gets dismissed as synchronized swimming does, you know. How do you feel about that compared to, say, a sport like the 100-meter dash or mile relay or some of the other sports where you can say, okay, the people really are top athletes. Do you view golf in the same way as that, or do you feel it's slightly different? Because some people even want bowling to be in the Olympics, and bowlers will say we're athletes, and people who disagree with that will say they're not. Golf seems to be somewhere in between. So obviously somebody who's into gymnastics has a harder road to hoe than somebody playing golf. It's a very different thing. One's more physical. So how do you feel about that now that it's heading that way?
I think when people say that golfers aren't athletes, I think they're totally wrong. Because today, if you see today's golfers, like they are one of the fittest people on earth. Their fitness levels are way more than average people. So I think it's wrong to say that golfers aren't athletes. But if we look at the technical part of it, it takes all the muscles. I'm not kidding. All the muscles in our body are either moved or they are rotated whenever you swing a golf swing. So I think every people has a different opinion about sports, and I think golf deserves to be an Olympic sport.
I think you're right about that. I mean, when I first met you, the first visual impression I got was I could tell immediately you were athletic type. I remember as a little boy when my father would take me out on the golf course many, many years ago, I would see these overweight rich guys playing golf, and you'd never know that they were so-called athletes, although they fashioned themselves to be. But they were absolutely nowhere in the league that you are. So I think you're right, it turned around with Tiger Woods. Do you see more of that happening? Will we one day see perhaps a bodybuilder type golfer? Or do you think that the way it is now is pretty much the way it will stay?
I think I don't think golf will ever become a very bodybuilding sport, because we need extreme amount of flexibility to swing fast. So I think the best sports figures who are today, I think they are very physical, very flexible, but they are strong as also. I think the people focus more to stay flexible rather than become strong, because once you become like bulk, you can't really swing that fast. Like Tiger nowadays, he has become so strong, but if you see his earlier days, he was very athletic. He used to swing it like wind.
Do you see, are the best golfers in your opinion, the champions, are they more strong power hitters or are they more finesse hitters?
I think the people who are winning most of the tournaments today, they have become really all-round personalities, because they are long off the tee, definitely. Because today's golf courses are not less than, any good championship golf course is not less than 7,500 yards, and you have to hit a long way to make it under control. Definitely they are long hitters, but where they change the game is on the greens, because every hole finishes with a putt, and their putting ability to hold pressure putts under crunch situations is the thing that makes them win.
Have you ever had the famous hole in ones?
Yeah, it is a very big fluke everyone has. I think I have had 2 hole-in-ones, one in competition and one in practice. So it's a good relaxing feeling. You don't hope for it every time you play, but once you do get it, it's very kind of, oh, thank God. So no one really works hard for that, it just happens.
And what's the longest putt you've ever sank?
I think the longest putt I would have sank would be about 90 some feet.
90 something feet?
Yeah.
Okay. Was it something that you thought you could do, or were you completely shocked when it happened?
I don't know. I was like doing my pre-shot routine and all. I had a feeling. It was very special moment on the green. I just knew it. If I started it online, it wouldn't go anywhere else. So 90 feet is a very long distance. So it was, as we were going halfway along, I thought it would miss right, but as near like 10 feet in, I knew it was going in.
Okay. Now, if you think, is there a single tournament out of all the ones you played, a single title that you won that was extra special to you, more head and shoulders above any of the other ones, for whatever reason? It could be that maybe you started out slow and you were able to be victorious eventually. Was there any single tournament that really stands out more so than the others?
I think the tournament, the first tournament I remember when I was age 7, I think, in India. It was my first national level win, and the guy I beat, I was like 6 behind of with 9 holes to go, and I pull off really tight last couple of holes. I think that was my first impression of winning. It was really hard work that couple of hours. So I think I deserved that win as much as any other win. But I think that stands out even today. And I even think about it, I still get goosebumps. So I think that was the victory that started it all.
When your father took you out on the golf course and introduced you to the game, and then you started to develop a passion for it, then you started to enter tournaments and win them, what was his reaction? Did he expect that of you, or was it just something that happened and he obviously has enjoyed that success as well?
I think he's a very supportive parent, and he doesn't put unnecessary winning pressure on me like most parents. They expect their children to win all the time, because even he knows, because he himself is a very passionate golfer, because in golf anything can happen at any time. If you are 5 up, you can win in a spur of a moment, or you can lose your 10-shot lead in one hole. So I think we both, when we go for a tournament, we just go out there to enjoy ourselves. Winning, losing is a part of the game, and I just think of getting better every tournament I play, because losing teaches me more than winning. Because when I lose a tournament, I learn more from my game, that what I have to do more. So I think he doesn't really put unnecessary pressure on me.
When my father took me out to play tennis, it was about probably 3 years before I was able to finally beat him. And then he never beat me again, on tennis. How is it for you? Do you lose to your father, or do you beat your father on the golf course?
In early stages, he used to give me some strokes so that we could level out, because he used to hit it really long in his day. So I used to play from the red tees where the ladies play. So we were always like one up, one down, that kind of stuff. But after about age 13, when I started building up, so I think after that I never got beaten by him.
Okay, and I assume he's a good sport about that.
Yeah,
he doesn't mind losing to his son.
Yeah, now he takes some couple of strokes to now level out, but still not close.
Okay. Do you enjoy the casual atmosphere of practicing and getting ready for a tournament, or do you enjoy the actual tournament itself, meaning living for those moments?
I think the pressure when I get playing in a tournament, that is what I live for, because that's the best feeling I get anywhere in and around, because the feeling that you have to go out there and play your best in order to win. I think when I practice, I try to make it kind of like tournament conditions. I put pressure on myself so I can prepare myself for that pressure. But it's not obviously the same, because the pressure we feel when we are out there in the tournament is nowhere close what we are doing in practice. But I also like somewhat casual practice, and like when I'm preparing myself for tournaments, it's not that I have to win, it's just I have to do my best game in order to win. So I don't really think about winning, losing, it's about doing my process, doing my routine thoroughly.
When you're in a tournament going to win it, how much of it is psychological versus just being the better skilled player?
I think after I started meditating, I think it's I win or lose a tournament before it starts. It's all in the mind. Playing the tournaments now is just kind of, you just have to go, you just sit back and watch yourself hit balls. It's kind of that, because the golf is like, I would say 90% psychological game and only 10% the physical part. If one wins in a tournament, he's only better in a psychological way, because nowadays everybody has the same game, everybody hits it long, everybody can hold putts. But the one who is strong in his head, I think he takes it home.
Are there, so you think you have to be really strong mentally or psychologically, because there's the type of getting in your opponent's head type thing that goes on, or they try to get in your head, or it's a tough mental?
I think people, like golf is a very gentleman game. We don't do like sludging or try to pull each other down. Or at least in our tour, like we have a very healthy competition. So I think when we see each other, we know that we have to beat them in order to win. but we are also good friends off the course. But when we are on the course, we have to play our best. So I think that motivates me a lot, because seeing them, even if I lose, I still feel good for them because they're still my friends. So the when we see each other, I get motivated a lot whenever I see a co-player, because I think like if he's working, then I have to work harder. If like I have to outwork them to beat them.
What about like when you're competing in the United States, where you won't necessarily see the people that you're competing against on a regular basis? Is it a bit different?
Yes, it's way different, because international players like from all over the world, no, you don't expect them to be nice to you, obviously, because they are here to beat you up. So you don't really have that friendly atmosphere in there. But some people, like the ones who are at the top level, because now I keep going internationally, I've made some friends there also. But still, it's way more competitive than in India, because people are just here to win. They don't care about anything else. So I think that there is a much more competitive field in the States.
Do you ever see yourself eventually relocating to the United States as you get older, once you turn pro, to?
I think I'm hoping to go to US for, if I don't turn pro, I probably would go to the college golf to play college golf there. So but after I turn pro, I'm like, my dream is to play the PJ Tour. So I have to, I think, most probably shift there to play the tour there.
Yeah, of course. Now, do you think that golf is evolving in the right way in India, or does it still have a long ways to go?
I think it's definitely picking up now, certainly, because in Chandigarh, as the golf range, if earlier when I was like 5-6 years old, you hardly 20 people used to come. But now it's very difficult to even find a bay to hit balls. It's like 100 people, 125 people every day that turn up to play golf. I think it's definitely picking up with now more sponsors, the government taking interest, and now it's an Olympic sport. I think people are really excited to play golf these days. So even in club golf, most club, it's almost full every day. So I think golf is certainly picking up these days.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to add or share with people watching your interview?
I think it's just one thing I would like to say, the people who are my age or younger than me. I think it's very important to stay humble and to just keep working on. Don't really let success get into your head, and just stay focused.